Yes, yes, people, welcome back to Never a Foul. It is Tuesday, and I'm joined by, I'm going to call it the context panel. Other than Thursdays, this is definitely the context panel. I've got Nobbins here. It's the second time with Greasy. Obviously, he was away last week. He was running away because obviously Man City lost. But other than that, man, we've got man like Greasy. Greasy, I can't lie, man. If there's one channel that I'm excited about, it's got to be yours. Like, I'm very interested to see how you're going to be by yourself on camera and see how you talk. Because I've always noticed, when people come on a generic type panel like this or whatever, it's always a different tone. But when they go on their own channels, they start talking the most.
I've got some ideas, man. I've got some ideas. You know what I'm saying? You ain't going to get a different Don on there, but we'll see in it. We'll see. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. That's just gonna way it's gonna be. But yeah, wait, let me read some of this. What did Mo say? What did he say? One second, I'm just trying to read a little something.
No, that's all right. Just while Cass is talking, I will defend myself and say I wasn't here last week because it was my sister's wedding over the last weekend, so I had lots of admin to do on the Tuesday because I still hadn't got back on the Monday, so I wasn't here just because City didn't win. All right, so we'll be having less of that.
Agendas must agenda.
Agendas must agenda, man. You build someone up and then they do a U-turn on you. Other than that, we're going to be talking about Liverpool mainly, which kind of directly involves you, Nobbin, because he used to be one of your players in Leroy Sane. It's actually picking up quite a lot of legs. It's not the first time they've been linked. It'll be funny. We can talk about how we view Sane and probably his attributes to maybe Klopp, what he wants to do. So I want to kind of dissect it that way. But it's not the only winger that they are interested in for the summer next year, but it would be a big signing if there's a name on the plate that could put fear into rivals. That he might be one of those. On top of that, we got Lavia news as well, which is kind of confusing. I would say as well to say the least, which we'll dive into as well. And then Pedro Neto is literally the big name on pretty much all clubs' interests. There's a bit of Chelsea interest. They were interested, and you could say Man City. You never know. Watch this space as well. I think he could definitely be some sort of Man City type winger if they're looking to evolve that role into, I don't know, something a bit more direct, especially someone that can play both sides. Man United is reportedly really interested in this guy. Arsenal as well. And then there's obviously Liverpool in and around that. And you know what? I never say never, but I would even put Tottenham in the hat. But I haven't seen anything with Tottenham as of yet. So yeah, man, it's funny. Like, the window's closed. It felt like the window didn't close that long ago, just for it to be open the next 2 months, less. Something along those lines. But yeah, man, let's talk about Leroy Sane going to Liverpool potentially, which was reported yesterday and 2 days ago. And to be fair, there was the odd link back in the summer, which no one actually. No one probably dived into who's going to replace Salah, right? But do you guys, one of you, reckon this is probably a signing that Liverpool need to make or should make, or the correct profile?
I mean, they're definitely going to have to sign someone of that ilk because, from the sounds of it, Saudi are very interested in signing Salah. Like, I know it all came out sort of like towards the back end of the last transfer window. So I don't know the exact length of Salah's contract next summer. I think there might be 2 years left in it, something. If Saudi come in with another massive bid and give Liverpool enough time to find a replacement, it wouldn't surprise me if Salah did end up leaving. And I guess that's when you might be interested in signing someone like Leroy Sane. He's obviously left-footed like Salah, even though he played predominantly on the left at City, and in fact at Bayern he started on the left, then went to the middle, and this season I think he's been exclusively on the right-hand side.
Yeah,
and he's turned into one of their better players, which is fantastic to see because I love Leroy. I was really worried for him after his ACL injury, but he seems to have got over that now. So he's definitely he would be unbelievable at Liverpool. I think that sort of direct, unbelievable dribbler, incredibly intelligent passer of the ball as well, and he just seems to be going from strength to strength in recent seasons. I can only see it happening if Salah does go. As I've said, I don't think you sign Sane to not have him as your main option there. I don't know if we're going to get on to whether it is going to happen and the likelihood of it happening, but I don't know if it would happen, even if Salah left, just because maybe this is wishful thinking on my part, but I still think there is a part of him which does love Man City. If you want to listen to the sort of, in the know people, they say like his wife or girlfriend or whatever still like has a strong affection for Manchester, and he does as well. So
they've still got an apartment here, innit? A house here or something. I
think that's right. I think that's absolutely right. Yeah. So I would be surprised if Sane signed for a direct rival of City based on that fact. But as I say, that might just be me being wishful thinking.
I would say that's more wishful thinking. Don't you think, Greasy? I think today's day and age, there's no loyalty in football. Anyways, I think at least not 99% of footballers don't have loyalty to no one. If the money's there and the ambition is there, then it's rightfully they're going to go there.
I just don't, logistically, I don't really know if it's going to happen, though. I don't really think Sane will come back to England. I think he's going to stay in Germany now, in all honesty. He's at a big club. Do you know what I mean? He's enjoyed his football again. Injuries haven't been that bad for him since he's been in Germany, right? Injuries have been quite good.
Yes and no. I'm going to say yes and no. 75% for the good, probably 25% for the no. I think he has been injured for a bit. But what worries me more about Sane is probably not his injury. It's probably more of his application of attitude in certain situations that are known to the public. Behind the scenes, he could just have off moments. I mean, for what we know, it could just be off moments. And I'll say maybe he's a great professional away from camera. No one knows this. It's just what we know from the public view. So I'm not gonna condemn him. Yeah, makes sense.
I think he'll definitely be a really good signing for Liverpool. Like Nobbins has already said all the attributes. He would be a good replacement for Salah, but I don't know if that will happen. I think I can see Jared Bowen happening more than Sane, in all honesty.
I think he's popping up, man.
I can see that one happening more than him. I think he's gonna be serious racks though, because he just signed that new contract. So Sane could be the cheaper option, but then again, he moved back to Germany. I don't know if he's gonna want to move back to England, man. That's the only thing. That's the only thing that I'm looking at. But in terms of him as a player, I think he'll be a really good replacement for Salah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, guys, make sure you're smashing the like button as well. We're on 35 likes, which is poor. That's poor. There's 200 of you in the building, so if you haven't done so yet, please double check your likes. It'll be very much approved. So yeah, I was gonna say. So let's go through what we know as in facts from what's been reported. Fabrizio came out just over a week ago, so last week Monday, and the director of Bayern said that they're certainly going to hold talks with him in the next few weeks to extend his contract. For all we know, when there's contract talks, teams get thrown out there, names get thrown out there. But when you're going to throw Liverpool to be one of them, you never really use Liverpool as a name so you can, I don't know, maybe it's Leroy Sane's agent trying to push to make sure he gets the deal that he wants. Right?
That's what they do.
That's what exactly that is what they do. And obviously, when Jurgen Klopp, the thing is, what strongly links here is that with Sane is that Klopp is German. The new directors of football and stuff in and around are German. The names they are linked with are German. So if you're going to talk about on that side of communication, etc., whatnot, I think it would be an easy fit for Liverpool, in my humble opinion. But then if we go further, Fabrizio said discussions will follow between 4 days later. He said discussions will follow between Bayern and Leroy Sane over a new deal. It will be one of the priorities at Bayern now for the next few months. So all of a sudden, it's gone from a few weeks to a few months. And that he is happy in Germany with his family and stuff like that. And then it only came out last night about, that Liverpool are monitoring the situation and that, if Salah is likely to leave the club in the summer, that he's a name that's pretty much on the list, if not top of the list. And that comes from a source that directly reports on Bayern Munich, and they value him around £55 million.
Is that it?
That's it.
That's cheaper than Bowen. That would definitely be cheaper than Bowen.
So if you're thinking around 55 million, you're telling me an offer would not tempt Bayern Munich, who are maybe trying to offload players. They have got new upcoming ballers, I think even that Teller's quite what's his name? Something Tell baller, up and coming talent. Yeah. If anything, Bayern not good at shifting.
He plays on the left. He plays on the left though, innit?
He can play either. He can play either. But I've always known that there's always a situation between Gnabry and Sane. Always some sort of direct competition of some sort as well. So when you think of profile, when we think of Sane, Liverpool, do you even think right wing's even his game? Because I've never looked at Sane as a right winger person. I think he's too stiff. He's way too stiff.
Yeah, I mean, it's a City that was never his game. It was always, left-footed Sane on the left and then right-footed Sterling on the right. I mentioned before, like, his first few seasons at Bayern, he was, predominantly used on the left and sort of like the number 10. But this season, Bayern Munich fans are saying, this is like his best start to a season. This is like, the Leroy Sane we signed. And he's been playing on the right-hand side. And, in today's, modern football age, it does seem like we favour, wrong-footed wingers, if that makes sense. Like a left-footed winger on the right and vice versa. He can definitely do that. Like he's one of it was one of my favorite players to watch at City because of his really intelligent dribbling, and I think that like the way Bayern play, the German way of playing football, it is quite direct in that respect. And I really like the idea of Sane as a right winger, to be honest, because I know it's a really high caliber to reach, but when he was sort of like 18, 19 years old at City, and he was like absolutely popping off even in his first season, I was like, there's something very Gareth Bale about like the way he runs, and like Bale was always known for his ability to cut him from the right and then just like strike it on his left foot. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if that's something that we continue to see with Sane over the course of the season. I think he can do that job, to be honest.
Well, with the way Liverpool plays, if he's going to play more inverted, like I think of Sane and I think of touchline left winger, innit?
Yeah, he's definitely touchline.
Yeah, touchline. If I think about the way Salah's role is, let's get one thing straight, Greasy. Yeah, no one in world football can replace what Salah does for Liverpool. So whoever they get or whatever name they get linked with, it does not matter. Because Salah is one of a kind. He's one of the legends of the Premier League in his own right as well. He deserves his move over to Saudi, especially with everything that's going on in and around. If you hear Salah's story and what he funds, etc., you got to commend him as a human being as well. So big up him. No one's going to replace his goals. No one's going to replace his assists. Because Sane, for one, is not a playmaker. He's probably more of a goal scorer, and if anything, just more of a supplier.
You don't think he's a creator?
I think in the Centurion season he got like nearly the most assists in the league.
Yeah, he was creating for fun at City, bro.
I'm talking about in the way Salah plays for Liverpool. He sometimes holds back and he can pick a pass over the top. I'm not talking about someone that's gonna be direct and then put a ball into think about it. Son needs to be direct, run to the touchline and cut it back. Yeah. Salah don't really do that all the time nowadays. His role is so different that he has to do a mixture of everything.
Yeah, but he plays more centrally though in comparison to Sane.
Yeah, that's what. So I'm trying to go through profile in terms of the Salah role, in terms of not saying that he can't be changed, because that's how you evolve as a coach. You have to evolve all the time. But for what Salah does, I just don't look at it more as a Salah type role where he fits in like that unless Klopp's going to change the whole system.
Well, I think it goes back to what you said though, Cass, about how you can't really replace Salah directly. Yeah. So you've got to try, as I say in Moneyball, you've got to try to recreate him in the aggregate. So I think that maybe what you might see is Sane taking on, less of a sort of, I know Salah isn't a striker, but the amount of goals he scores, he might as well be a striker in that respect. So less of a goal scorer and maybe more of a facilitator for someone like Darwin Núñez to play down the middle. And then maybe he evolves into your more out-and-out goal-scoring 9 rather than someone who's more focused on trying to link the play with Salah. So maybe getting someone like Sane, who's more focused on creativity, maybe more so than getting goals himself. Maybe that, in turn, brings the most out of Darwin Núñez. And maybe that's how you can recreate Salah's output by trying to share it. Because obviously Sane is nowhere near the level of Salah. So maybe that's a way you can circumvent that.
Yeah, I think the main thing with Sane is that he's got the ability. He's got the ability to be molded.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? He's definitely got the ability to be molded. So whether Klopp wants him to have a different dynamic, stay in touchline, whether Klopp wants him to come a little bit more sort of inverted, and like you've said, they've got that German connection. I think he could cook a little sound with him, in all honesty, because I really liked him at City, man. He was creating a lot.
Yeah. I'm still going through profile. I'm just going through my head. Like you said, the main thing is the quality's there.
But even Bowen's touchline, bro.
You know what?
He's touchline as well.
If I'm gonna think of a direct, you know what? Bowen would actually make so much sense when I think of Bowen, yeah, and I think I underrate Bowen a lot, and maybe it's because he does play for West Ham, and maybe it's because he's English as well, not because of the name, but maybe I don't view him and he's under a Moyes type situation. Bowen can do everything. One thing he does lack compared to, let's say, the Salah, I think he can do a Salah role. I think he could be a facilitator. He could do all sorts. He can create. He's got a good pass. He's got a good shot. He's got a good touch.
Good touch as well.
The only thing he doesn't have the same as Salah is obviously the pace. Yeah, that's the only thing is. But that's Bowen.
He's not slow though. Cass. He can beat a man.
He's not Salah. He's not as in obviously he's not going to be nowhere near Salah levels. But I'm just saying in terms of profile, I don't think he's a burst of acceleration the way Salah gives and goes. Yeah, his acceleration is nuts on the ball. It is nuts. Like it's just meet like all them situations all over again. Is gone. But when I think of Sane, he's turning 28 in January. Yeah, so he is 20. He's in his prime years. It's probably the perfect time to. If you're going to think of 55 million for a 28-year-old, common 28-year-old, it's a bargain. If I'm being honest, in the prime, it's a good deal, especially in today's market. And I look at Sane and I look at Klopp. Work rate is the main thing for me as well. Does Sane want to work? Does he want to do that again? Is he not comfortable at Bayern? Do you get what I mean? Like, is he going to do what Klopp ideally wants to do? But then unless Klopp sorts out the system from the back going forward, he might not even need to do so much pressing because all he has to do is press from the front, right? Overall, I don't think he's the profile that Liverpool should go for. I think it sounds more like a name. And if I know anything about Liverpool, is that they profile players very well, right? That's the way I'm looking at it. I look at Luis Diaz. Maybe you're actually right then in what Nobbins is saying in terms of if you've got a Luis Diaz on one side just to create for the number 9, and then you've got another winger like Diaz technically on the other side that can do all the creativity and be direct on the other side, then Nunes, all he has to do is be a number 9, right? And then you spark another, conversation. But I just don't think he's the guy that they need, especially in modern football. I think you need more than just a direct winger. You got to be able to, you got to at least have one winger that knows how to do a bit of everything, in my opinion.
And that's why I think Bowen's the next best guy up. And he hasn't with Bowen, he's already in the league. I know Sane's played there before, but that was a minute ago now. You know what I'm saying? That's going to take a little bit of adjusting into the league. That's going to be a transition period again, moving back to the UK. I think Bowen will be more of a smooth transition. And I honestly think that Liverpool are going to go in for him in the summer. I think they're going to go in for him in the summer, 100%.
Would you take Sane back at City, by the way, Nobbins?
Oh yeah, in a heartbeat. Like there's this love affair with City fans and Leroy Sane. Like he was like for so many people like our favorite player to watch. To be honest, he was so unique, and it was just such a shame that I think that ultimately, I believe he like fell out with Pep, and that's even before the injury, he was like mooted to leave. But if like we're to assume that there was no attitude problem, I'd take him back in a heartbeat. It will never happen. That's the thing. Like it's a pipe dream. It would never happen.
Yeah, Pep doesn't take players back.
Exactly. But if you're saying to me, in this hypothetical world, you can have Sane back and it'll be all flowers and roses between him and Pep, and it's not going to be an issue. But yeah, definitely take him back in a heartbeat because I absolutely adore the way he plays football. He's, as I say, was one of my favourite players to watch whilst at City. It's especially in that 2-year period from 2017 to 2019.
Days. You know what? Okay? Yeah, no. It's the super chat. Because I saw this on Coppish yesterday, and I was going to ask the question, which it was a debate. I can't understand for the life of me why Liverpool aren't looking at Cavradonna, aka Kvaratskhelia.
Yeah, but he's a left mid though. He's a left winger.
I saw Coppish having a debate about Kvaratskhelia and also Luis Diaz, and which one Cal would prefer Kvaratskhelia or Kvaratskhelia, and Drifty wanted Luis Diaz. And there's been a criticism around Luis Diaz of late by their own fan base, which I do not understand personally. He's just come back from two long injuries in one season. He's getting his feet, and I don't think he's been playing bad. But he's a left winger, and he's going to be way too expensive.
Yeah, he's a left winger. He'll be expensive. Like even Roms, just put Roms' comment up. Yeah, so we're not going in for him. Don, he just signed a new contract, 100 million minimum. I mean, how much are they going to get for Salah? Do you guys reckon? Because I think they'll get over 100 for him.
120.
Yeah.
at least.
Cash that
120.
back out on a Bowen. Cash
Yeah.
that back out on him.
You know what? There's another name, yeah, and I know this is going off topic. This ain't a transfer show or of any any sign or any. But there's one name which I think would be just shrewd business by Liverpool, and such a Liverpool type signing is Taki Kubo from Real Sociedad.
Or the guy in Spain, yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know much about him, to be honest. I've just seen the clips.
Wicked, bro. So I watched Spanish football just to watch him.
left-footed?
Yeah, left-footed. You could say both-footed. He's what a talent. It's a talent, and it's one for the future. But he's killing it. He's killing it. He's got everything. I see Chiesa in there. I think Chiesa's also another option, but I don't know if Chiesa is more of a right winger, maybe a left winger. But I've
seen a few people saying about Musa Diaby, but again, do you think Villa will sell him after a year?
Yeah, you know what? You could probably tempt the price, but Aston Villa will charge the premium now, and I think they can. But Takekubo, Adeyemi, I think is a great one. It depends how Liverpool want to assess the situation. Do they want someone that's ready now, or do they want someone to build? And that's another question. Maybe even Liverpool. Actually, you know what? Let me ask the Liverpool fans in it. I know. Is it Tom Palayan, Maradon? Big up all the Liverpool supporters, Roms as well. Yeah. What would you rather, Liverpool fans watching this? Would you rather someone that you can build for the future, or would you rather somebody that you want someone now that can replace him now? Or even you guys, what would you say if you was Liverpool? What would you rather do?
Do you have the option of just trying to keep hold of Salah? Is that because if I was a Liverpool fan, I think I'd want to do that.
No.
I'd rather go for someone that's ready now. Someone that's ready now. Do you know what I'm saying? Because, bro, that drop off is going to be a drop off anyway, regardless. You can't have too much of a drop off from like going from Salah to building on someone that's not at that level yet. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Obviously, right now the market on that side is quite low. There isn't anyone really that you can think of that can come in here realistically at this moment in time. But there's definitely options there that are good enough to play for Liverpool.
I reckon
it can't be too much of a drop off though. Oh, Elise.
Nico Williams from Bilbao. He's one of my favorite players.
You will link with him.
I don't think Elise is not a Liverpool type player though, man.
No, he's not. Not for me either.
He's not. That's the wrong profile.
Yeah,
I think profile, Cass.
It depends because you can't get the best of both worlds these days. You can't get someone that's going to goal score or goal score and create at the same time the way Salah does. So yeah, man, it's crazy, man. This must be a bit of a heartbreaking kind of situation. If you're a Liverpool fan listening or thinking about like, damn, like, is he really going to go next season? Yes.
He should have got Roms on this. He should have got Roms on this as well.
Nah, Roms can come on Thursday. To be fair,
I want to hear what Roms has got to say.
If this continues, like as in the story, then I'm pretty sure there'll be a lot of streams around it anyways. Wolf says a realistic prediction, Blades versus United 2-0. You always predict us to lose anyways, so we're going to be doing that more in depth on Friday, maybe Thursday. Aya says he's 2-footed Don. I think he's talking about Takekubo, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Big up for the super chat as well. Guys, there's 350 of you in the building. Please smash the like button if you haven't done so. I'm going to keep asking for them. We're on 93. That's why I got the, what's it called? What they call the polls running, so it reminds you people as well. Likes are very important for the channel. It's as Mo would say, it's the bread and butter of YouTube. So if you haven't done so yet, please just take 2 seconds of your time to do that. But moving on from that situation, we'll come back to another winger that we mentioned at the start. Is actually your team in Lavia.
Mm-hmm.
You lot cannot catch a break with injuries right now. And neither can we. Apparently Casemiro's got a knock or a bruised ankle or something like that. But I'm so confused on this Romeo Lavia stuff because yesterday, rumors came out and it was saying that he's going to be out till December. And then someone said, no, that's fake. They're quoting it wrong. Lavia makes a tweet and then deletes it. Anything for likes and clicks and stuff like that. Deletes it. And then another reliable source comes out to say, he's going to be out for an extended period till November.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't understand it. If he fake, is it fake news? Is he back from injury? Is there any pictures of him in training?
Does Lavia even exist? You know what I'm saying? I even forget. Does he even exist, bro? Lavia doesn't exist. You know it is. You know what's so mad about this Lavia situation? Yeah, like there's times I'm sitting there and I even forget he plays for my club. Do you know what I'm saying? I actually forget that Lavia plays for Chelsea because he came in training, rolled his ankle, and he's been gone since. But Chelsea have never actually like given a timescale as to when he'll be back. The injury update on him has always just been in rehabilitation. But I don't know if you guys know that Darko guy, the Chelsea fan on Twitter.
Yeah.
He's apparently his boy is with Lavia, right? And he put a tweet up in October saying Lavia is expected to come back around November time. So yesterday, everything that came out is what we was expecting anyway. That's why Lavia put that tweet out to say anything for clicks and that, because I think the expectation was for him to come back in November anyway. You know, I'm to be honest, I'm not stressed out. I'm not stressed out with how Chelsea are moving with the Lavia situation because we've got more than enough options in that position right now. You've got Caicedo there, you've got Leslie that can play there. So it's not like we're dying for him to come back right now. What I want is a Lavia that's 100% fit and ready to play to come back, rather than rushing him and then he gets injured again. Do you know what I'm saying? So if he's got to come back in December, so be it. He's going to feel like a completely different new signing anyway, because we haven't seen him. If he comes back at the same time as Nkunku, so be it.
Yeah, what do you think, Nobbins, around the Lavia? Like, do you, in general, right? Before, I know we've got Don's opinion on this many times, but I look at Lavia, I'm thinking, where does he fit in the starting lineup as well? Someone that's gone from somewhere because he left your club because he wanted first team football. I'm not saying Chelsea shouldn't have got him because I think competition is healthy in general anyways. There's no reason not to go and get him, right? But for what he wanted, for what he could have had at Liverpool and so forth, where do you see him fitting into the first 11 of Poch's mind?
No, I was just going to ask Don that. So I'm glad you brought it up. Yeah, I am. When the whole Liverpool Chelsea transfer love triangle happened, I was like looking at it from which club does he suit more? So, and I thought Caicedo suited Chelsea more, and then Lavia suited Liverpool more because Lavia, from my understanding, isn't a more traditional out and out six defensive midfielder. That's exactly what Liverpool needed. That's the sort of player that they play with. Whereas Chelsea, if they've got someone like, if they're playing the quote double pivot situation, then they can have Enzo Fernandez as more of like the deep line playmaker, the creator, and then they can have someone like a Caicedo alongside him. Doesn't need to be a traditional six, but needs to be that sort of like more, whatever you want to call it, defensive minded, box to box, whatever the team you want to call it is. So yeah, so if I was a Chelsea fan, I'm looking at the available options. I'm looking at Lavia. I'm thinking from a Chelsea fan perspective, brilliant option to have, from like a squad depth perspective. But if the Lavia perspective is he wanted first team football, as you say, that's why he left City. I don't think he's a guaranteed starter personally at Chelsea if everyone is fully fit, because in my brain, I think that Chelsea's best midfield would have Enzo and Caicedo as a more deeper options. And again, if everyone's fully fit, maybe have like, someone like Nkunku ahead of them, or someone like, Gallagher.
That makes sense.
It all depends.
Gallagher's role makes total sense. When people said that Nkunku, like, is he like the guy that's going to do box to box and press? Bro, I mean, I said to people in the summer, Nkunku has done 8. He done it when he was at PSG. Yeah. He's done multiple roles at Leipzig, and we're known for the pressing system. Anyways, he's got abundance of energy. The free is that. But at the 9, again, you can know better than me. You know what? I'm not saying you know better than me, but it's your club, and you would know better than me, of course.
Yeah, I think.
Like a 19-year-old can't demand to be in the starting 11 of Chelsea, period. There's levels to this, there's seniority everywhere on the pitch, and this is where, Caicedo said, that's my position. Enzo said, that's my position. So where are you going to start? Because you're not starting over, in an attacking role, right? So, but it's just confusing for what he wants and how he sees the full picture. Maybe the project's been sold a little bit differently to how we're explaining it.
Yeah, I think he would have definitely got a lot more game time at Liverpool just because they haven't got CDM. We've got a lot of options. But if you want to put Lavia in this lineup, you can definitely go over 4-3-3. Do you know what I'm saying? If you've got Lavia as holding in that 6, and you've got Caicedo and Enzo as playing as the
just go do what you need to do, because when you think about it, if you do play that 3, you can play your fullbacks very high.
Yep. And then you can still get Nkunku in there because you can play him off the left. Do you know what I'm saying? Or if you want to play him up top, you could do that as well. So I think there's with Lavia, he gives us that flexibility, because even at PSG, Poch played a 4-3-3 with all Messi and them lot. Do you know what I'm saying? He's not just stuck with a 4-2-3-1.
I remember that 3 in the midfield as well that he used to have as well. I know he played 4-2-3, but the 3 used to be quite defensive.
And even this season, we haven't just played a 4-2-3-1. It's been a hybrid of like a 4-2-3-1/4-3-3. Most of the games that we played this season have actually been a 4-3-3.
I call it the oblong formation, man. It's like this. So imagine I can't do it on the screen. Sorry, so it will be this way. So sorry, that way you got Colwell who's like the furthest back, and then it's like a whole line, and your right back goes a bit forward. So you got that oblong line.
yeah.
And then your left wing is has to be further back, and then it's all on the right hand side. It's just slanted.
I'm telling you, if you've got Caicedo in front of Lavia, and Enzo in front of him as well, those two playing as the eights, bro, that's a serious combination. And Lavia the deepest man, because Caicedo, people actually don't think Caicedo's got end product. He does. He creates chances. Bro, the amount of people that are confused when I told them about Caicedo in the final third.
It's progressive passing to final thirds is class, bro.
Exactly, like, very good. And that's one thing that obviously people always compare Caicedo to Kante.
I think Caicedo's future role is the 8. I think he's
same.
Whether we like it or not, the Kante role. I think that's his role.
Bro, even the other day, I don't know if you guys watched Kendry's goal, yeah? Big up my boy Kendry Payers. I told Cass about him in the summer. This guy's going to be a big player, yeah? 16 years old, bro. Scored a goal for Ecuador the other day, yeah? Top player. But yeah, Caicedo set him up for that goal. Caicedo set him up. He assisted for him. So I think that can definitely work, man. When Lavia was playing for Southampton, bro, he was holding that 6 by himself. So I think Lavia will definitely find his way into this 11, man, because Gallagher, for me, long-term, the quality, we'll see how he gets on. If he proves me wrong, he proves me wrong. Do you know what I'm saying? Let him keep improving his quality on the ball, but there's levels to this. If you're talking about quality on the ball, Lavia, he's got that in abundance. Do you know what I'm saying? So he has to be in the 11 somehow at some point, man.
Well, good news for you guys is apparently Reece James is back, potentially for even the Arsenal game.
Bro, how many times has he come back and then broken down again? For me, he has to prove his fitness. I don't have conversations about Reece James anymore because he can't prove his fitness. There's no point coming back after one or two games, your hamstring goes again, or your knee goes again, or your calf goes again. Like, I'm only going to have a conversation about Reece James when I see him play majority of the games that are coming up. Do you know what I mean? This is why we brought in Augusto. Don't play him every single game. And even against Arsenal, I wouldn't start him, to be honest. I wouldn't. He hasn't played since the first game of the season. If you are going to start him, maybe to bring him off after 70 minutes or something. Do you know what I mean? But I trust Gusto to play in that position because defensively, he's been very good for us. Very good for us. So,
yeah. I agree on that part. Someone that you was linked with, you could say, was linked. A guy that's, we were talking about right wingers earlier, so we're gonna go dive back into that situation again. Is that boy Pedro Neto, who is proving his fitness right now, who is proving that he hasn't lost his touch. Liverpool's linked with him. Man United's heavily linked with him. Arsenal's heavily linked with him. There's obviously off links elsewhere. What do you think Pedro Neto's like Nobbins? He has what it takes to become a top winger, because even though it might be on, let's say it gets January and somebody buys him, it is only 6 months of fitness. It's not like he's lining up balls by himself, you could say, and he's probably carrying that attack on his shoulders. Yeah. And I don't know if he's gonna have that. On the eye, he looks amazing, but I don't know if he has what it takes to become one of the top wingers in the world personally, because I just don't know if I believe in availability too tough. And I think they're quoting only around 30 odd million for him. So technically it's not that bad when you think of it.
Yeah, I guess I'd want to see more evidence, to be honest. Like, he has been unbelievable so far this season. I've watched quite a bit of Wolves this season. Every time he has looked brilliant. And it's so good to see. It seems like he's over that really horrible, I think it was a knee injury he had, was it like last season or the season before? So really good to see he's potentially over that. But yeah, he's still only 23. If he's able to keep playing like this for, the rest of this season, and that's great. But I'd probably still like to see even then just like a further season from him, just to see if he is that guy. If 30 million is quoted, then we were talking about Liverpool earlier. Maybe that is basically a risk-free investment, isn't it? 30 million pounds in today's market is basically nothing for a player who might go on to become like an unbelievable winger. Liverpool have prior experience buying from buying Wolves forwards in Diogo Jota as well. So maybe that would actually make a bit more sense than the Leroy Sane one. But if you want me to say, do I think he's going to be one of the best wingers ever, or can he be? I think I need to see a little bit more from him. We're only 8 games into the season. Very impressive start to the season, obviously, but I need a little bit more. Signs are good though.
Yeah, because it's mad when you think about it. Because let's put it like this: Neto signs for Man United. How much does he improve them? He does improve. He does improve Man United, but to what scale, right? As his current squad is. But you put him in Arsenal, right? And all of a sudden he's fighting with right wing. But not only that, he can do a Trossard. He's like Trossard, play left or right. It doesn't matter. And actually, he plays with both feet. It doesn't matter. All of a sudden, Arsenal look like they got attacking options, and you could say they're probably one more strike away from being a complete squad in terms of winning the league, maybe being even favourites potentially. Who knows? Watch this space kind of situation. You put him in Liverpool's situation and think, how many attackers do you need? How many effective wingers do you actually have? Some obviously Liverpool fans like Harvey Elliott. Some may like others over there. They'd rather just stick with Ben Doak. But you put Pedro Neto over to Liverpool, and all of a sudden he gets 6 months under Klopp, and then he could be what Klopp needs potentially and more if they go and get somebody else. So, and then you look at that and thinking, yeah, you know what? If Pedro Neto does go to Liverpool, that pretty much solidifies maybe even top 2, top 3 because of the options, right? So it's funny old game. It's like who's going to pay what and how much for who, or for him, shall I say. If you're Pedro Neto in mind, where do you think he goes if you're trying to think if you're in his shoes? Because I'm pretty sure if he goes to Arsenal, he knows he needs to concede that you're not going to start over Saka. You go to Liverpool knowing there's a potential, progression over Salah if he does end up leaving. That's a big if, because you never know, he could stay and sign a contract.
Let's have a conversation though. Let's have a conversation. Let's touch upon Arsenal real quick, innit? You know what I'm saying? I know guys like to protect Saka, and Arsenal fans think Saka's world class. Let's say Neto goes Arsenal and he's doing more, right? More in the 90 minutes than Saka does, and he's actually offering GNA as well. We can't then turn around and say, oh, he's never going to start ahead of Saka. Do you know what I mean? It's only right now we have those conversations because Saka plays every single game. But let's say he has competition there and that competition is doing better than him. What's there to say that Saka's not going to get dropped? Are we now saying that Saka's undroppable?
After Starboy status, even though he's not had the greatest of performance, he's still putting up GA that's what we love these days is GA. New contract, and I'm pretty much thinking if you think of Arsenal, who's the main man out of the whole situation in that team? I mean, they all got a big role. Yeah, Salah is the face of Arsenal. So on that status, no.
So what you're saying is it don't matter what Neto does, he's never going to start ahead of Saka.
I've seen this story too many times. There's some players you just have to sometimes I don't think it's always entirely down to the manager. I think it also comes down to politics within the club. There's some players you just cannot drop. Yeah, even if they are having bad games. It's a bit like Anthony with Man United. No matter how many bad games it is, Ten Hag has to stick by his signing regardless, because he's new and he's fresh, and Man United want to get, they want to know what they paid for. Correct, but even then, Sancho still can't get a game. Who cares? You don't care if he's still playing bad. It doesn't matter. Even Pelestri or Garnacho or someone, they don't care. It's. I think again, you can't drop him, and I think Saka's got too much within him in an ability to ever get him into a situation where he's having a bad run, like 5 bad games, to say, oh, you know what, he needs to get dropped. But remember, Neto can play on the left.
I think
that's true. But then they've got Nelson though. They've got Nelson as well. This is what I'm saying. It's a bit congested over there. They've got Nelson there. They've got Trossard there.
Let's get one thing right. Nelson's career at Arsenal is pretty much coming down to a close. As in, it doesn't matter if he's had a new contract. He'll go on loan or he gets sold at some point. If you're telling me your club is looking at another player that's in your position, that's you further down the pecking order.
Yeah, but the reason why I'm saying Nelson is because they're probably going to have to get rid of him first before they go and bring in a Neto. If they're planning to go and get a Neto, for example, and you're saying he can play both positions, they're probably going to have to look to move him on in January then, in that case.
Wait,
Arsenal going to have to sell. Arsenal going to have to sell to make space.
Yeah, they've got quite a bloated squad.
If you're saying that left side, it's quite bloated, bro.
Yeah, it's quite bloated there. What are you going to say, Nobbins?
I was just going to say, I think that I'd be just if I was like, if I wanted like what was the best for Neto, I feel like Arsenal would be a little bit of a waste, to be honest, if the idea is for him to become, sort of like, a main man, because Arsenal are really stacked on the wings. There is already, we talk about, Neto can go both ways, and that's great, but they have Martinelli on the left and Saka on the right. They've got Trossard who can go on both wings. And I'm still of the view that I'm going down this hill that Gabriel Jesus is best utilised as a wide player rather than a central striker. So I think that if we're going to be talking about, like a forward option that could, propel Arsenal to, more champion level, I think they should probably be looking at more of a central forward player rather than a wide player. Because as I say, in my view, you can have Saka and
I think that's
Jesus
priority.
on
Yeah,
the right, and then, Martinelli, Trossard, whoever on the left, and then, Havertz, whatever. And then, as I say, I think they need someone else as the 9. I think Neto could be better utilised somewhere else. If he went to Arsenal, fantastic utility player, whatever. Maybe, can challenge Saka, give Saka a rest, whatever. But I think that there would be better uses of his talents, and he would be, it would, in my opinion, wouldn't be the best career choice for him. It'd be an amazing move for Arsenal, but I think from Neto's perspective, there are probably better options given the how stacked, in my opinion, Arsenal are out wide.
It's funny that, isn't it? Like that we've seen, you say that Jesus going over there. I think we mentioned that even last week. Even himself, he said that he just wants to play for the team, as in win for the team. And if he's been using them over on the right, and he's had a couple good performances, I'm pretty sure Arteta is probably thinking, do I even need a right winger? Do I need to spend that money?
That's why it's confused me when like Arsenal fans saying, "Oh, we need another right winger." Again, from it, just because I obviously watched a lot of him at City. He was never the main man centrally at City. He was the main man once at City in a season. That was the season where we didn't win the league in the 1920 season. And I think some of his best performances came out on the right wing in his final season, to be honest.
Didn't he get man of the match against Madrid on the right?
That sounds about right.
In the Champions League.
Yeah, and even on the left, he put in a really good performance. I just don't know if he is that. I thought he was going to evolve into that guy, but from what I've seen, I don't think he is that guy. As I say, City have never won the league with Jesus as the main man in the middle. I don't know if he is going to be that guy for Arsenal. Unbelievable on the wing, fine. As I say, could be a backup option to Saka, can even be versatile and play on the left, brilliant. But as I say, I think that if we're talking about, a forward player for Arsenal, in my opinion, they need to be focusing more on striker, number 9, whatever you want to call it, rather than, a utility wide player.
Yeah, man, it's just, I don't know where he's going to go, man. I think he's going to get a move. I think Wolves are, they're coping right now compared to what I had predicted for them at the start of the season. So, it's looking like Wolves are becoming quite hard to go and play against again over in the Molineux.
Wolves play some good football, man. It's just their finishing is terrible, man. Yeah, honestly, I think Cunha can be the next what's his name, Joe Linton, right? Because that guy on the ball, bro, he reminds me of Moussa Dembele on the ball, bro. The way he moves on that ball and he just takes everyone off, that guy can drive it, man. But when it comes to finishing, terrible, bro. Terrible.
Yeah, he is terrible. That's probably why Atletico Madrid probably got rid of him, to be fair.
Yeah, but he can't finish. But I can imagine him playing in midfield.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look at it. If Wolves get rid of Pedro Neto, I don't know what they're going to bring in. I don't know what's next for them, to be honest. I think that's their attack finished. They could bring in somebody. They could rely on the Korean guy, as Pep Guardiola says, and whatnot. But you know what? Before I finish off here, I want to get, because you're going to be around Saturday. I might wait for it. But are you optimistic to play Arsenal? Be honest. Are you optimistic, or are you thinking like, oh shit?
Nah, I'm really not. And Arsenal fans have been gunning me down because I'm silently optimistic for this game. Because Class, you've literally spoken to me week after week, and I've criticized us from the beginning. But the past 3-4 games, bro, I've seen a big change, and that's all down to the personnel that have started to come in, and the trust that Poch is putting in certain players. And now the players are starting to take responsibility in front of goal. You know what I'm saying? And when I've been watching Arsenal, bro, I'm still not fully convinced. Do you know what I mean? I know right now they're picking up the points, they're getting the results, but performances always matter. Do you know what I'm saying? Even their last game against Man City, it was a dead game. There was a lack of quality in that game, man. And in the end, they deserved to win because they wanted it more. But when I'm looking at them as a team right now, I know defensively they've been good, which is great. Defensively we've been good as well. They're not creating as many chances as us, I believe, still at the moment. And yeah, they're just not looking as fluid as what they were looking like last season. Obviously, I know that they've got a lot of people back now from injury. They've got Partey back. They've got Jesus back. They've got their normal front three, which should help them play better. But that's not a given, because that's the first game back now that they've got these guys back. It's not going to be a given that they're just going to go back firing to how they were last season. So for me, I think it's going to be a tight game. I think this game is all going to be down to who can actually take their chances. Do you know what I mean? Because in that midfield, we've got a proper midfield now with Caicedo and Enzo in that pivot. Gallagher, as much as I don't rate him, he has been playing he's been playing all right the past 3 games, to be fair. And off the ball, statistically, he's actually won the ball the most times in the final third from midfield. He's won it 13 times, right? The most in the league so far. So I think it's going to be a tight game, man, because defensively we've been patterned, they've been patterned. Attacking, again, it just depends on who takes their chances. But silently, I'm feeling optimistic about this game silently, but I'm not getting overly confident. I don't think it's going to be an easy game. I don't think
I'm not going to dive into it too much yet. It's only a Tuesday. We got what? Thursday and Friday, probably Saturday, and obviously come Sunday, talk about it like that. So I'm not going to dive into too. I just wanted a little snippet of like what you like, how you're going to think about obviously the game itself. Actually, you know what? Last point I'm going to wrap up upon, yeah. And I know you're going to laugh at, man, innit? It is what it is, innit? And I know I'm probably smoking coffee. You know what I'm going to say, innit? So I feel like, do you reckon Surgeon Ratcliffe? Do you reckon it's going to be?
I haven't even spoken to you about this.
Do you reckon? Yeah, I know. Do you reckon he improves Man United?
No, it's good.
In the short term or long term, or
no? I don't think nobody short term is gonna improve Man United. We should know this through. We should know this through anything. Todd Bowley short term didn't work. Even when anyone that comes in and takes over a club short term, it never really gets cracking straight away. You have to give everything time, regardless.
Bro, because you have to let them make mistakes. You have to let them make mistakes and let them learn from it. This is the thing.
So I said if people might watch the video, and I've already given my opinion through it, right? Remember, my preferred choice was always Sheikh Jassim because I wanted short term. I wanted infrastructure and everything done.
Let me give you my take. Then I'll hear what you want. We ain't spoken much about it yet, but for me, how I look at it right now, obviously I'm gassed. I'm gassed that you lot ain't got the Qataris. I mean, I'm happy that you're not getting your stadium sorted out the way you wanted it to. The area around Manchester's not getting sorted out. All of that, I'm gassed about all of that, yeah, right? And the wealth that they were going to come in with, right? But for me, it's like, look, if Jim Ratcliffe gets the right people in terms of the structure,
which Man United originally, which I didn't think he was going to do.
Yeah,
by the way.
yeah, right, yeah. So if he actually brings in people that know what know about football, right, and not just accountants like Murto and all these jokers, then potentially the decisions that to bring in certain managers or to bring in certain players, that should naturally improve. So on the pitch, it should help you out in terms of actually winning things in the short term. I think long term, it will still be quite difficult to catch up to everyone else. But I think it will help you to have a better structure. Because right now, bro, you're managed by clowns. You're managed by a bunch of clowns that don't know anything about football. You know what I'm saying? And everything changes when you bring some football brains in. It's similar to us. Like we had Todd Bowley running around last year. If you guys remember, doing all the signings, doing everything. Do you know what I mean? And then in January, we brought in a recruitment team, and upstairs we've looked a lot better now with the players that we've been bringing in. But I just think, if Man United bring in a proper structure, I wouldn't rule them out from doing a little something. Do you know what I mean? But then again, the Glazers are still in there.
They're still in there, but that's just like, bro, it's not even by choice anymore. Like you have to get one foot in the door for them to get out, and whether you like it or not, we have to suffer with it. You either pay the double premium or they're not getting out, and that's just what Man United have had for years.
I think that short term, I think that you will suffer, but I think long term, the benefit, it will be worth it long term.
When you say short term suffer, is there any? When you say short term, do you think it's going to get any worse than it has been for a decade, anyways?
I think it. Well, exactly. But I think that before, even when it was bad, there was still maybe an expectation amongst United fans that you're going to compete for the title this season, that sort of thing. Obviously, that never really happened, but I still think there was a mentality of United fans that we're going to get these signings and now we're going to compete or we'll be on the path to competing. And I think that now there should be almost like a reset of United because loads of people exploit United in the transfer market. We all know about Man United tax, overpaying, paying silly wages. So I think that short term, you should almost maybe try to do like what Brighton are doing, in that not going for the massive names, maybe like taking gambles on younger players, stabilize the club from a transfer fee and wage perspective. So you're not muddied financially, because United's always going to make money no matter what they do. And with an eye for, and that might take like 2, 3, 5 years. But then long term, once you've sorted yourselves out, and once you've got a good structure, that's when you can then go back and, you know, properly go into the market and go, right, and now we're looking for the final pieces to actually challenge. So that's what I mean by short term. So, like, let's say like, a 2 to 5 year period of, quote, whatever you want to call it, like not actually properly competing for the title, which you haven't been doing anyway, but with a view for longer term, healthier club. And also, I think that trying to take whether we think about Newcastle's owners, take a leaf out of Newcastle owners' book, in that actually engaging with the fans and actually properly engaging with like past club legends, not leaving them out in the cold, and actually having a community back. I think that would be worth its weight in gold to lots of United fans.
I think with Jimmy boy, yeah.
Jimmy.
Jimmy. I think with him, yeah. I think the spending is definitely going to be a little bit more reserved in comparison to the Qataris, innit? But it doesn't matter if it's reserved. If it's spent correctly, bro, that's definitely going to help you, though, because you don't spend money correctly. You don't have a plan. You never have a plan. It's all about the big names. Funny enough, I was even watching what's the name? I was watching the David Beckham documentary yesterday. Just one little clip, yeah. And they were speaking about, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but they were speaking about the bit with Figo and Beckham and like why did they bring him in? And Perez literally said he tripled our income. Like he tripled it, yeah. So they obviously brought him in for marketing, and I feel like that's what United have been doing with like the Ronaldos and the big name players. But if you're if you're bringing guys that are a little bit more niche and bringing the profiles that match how Ten Hag actually wants to play his football, it could help.
I think if it is rumored to be true for what the process is going to be over the next few years, then I'm going to have to back it, whether you like it or not. Even though it's not my preferred choice, I think everyone deserves a chance or shot. Anyways, so I'm personally going to back it because I've got no choice. I'm a United fan first anyway, so I'll back whatever it may be in terms of what he has in mind, if it's to be true, because he's talking about bringing in Jean-Claude Blanc, who revived Juventus, if people don't know this as well. Like, he revived all that. He revived. You remember when Juventus got relegated in their worst period? He became like their director or the CEO basically of Juventus, and got them back to winning ways. And then he left as soon as they were stabilized and whatnot. That's one part. Then obviously Michael Edwards has now got stronger links than Paul Mitchell. That's maybe even both of them might potentially be coming into the structure. And that's what Liverpool fans are in here are not going to like the name, say, nah, you're living off copium and hopium and all this bullshit. I'm thinking, well, that's your main man that made you what you are, if we're being totally honest, and got the signings you need. So that's the way I look at it. If you bring in a Michael Edwards or Paul Mitchell, that's a step in the direct. That's what it sounds like on paper through rumors. That's what I want to hear. Why is there a PR spin? I'm not optimistic about Ratcliffe, but I'm not going to be pessimistic about it at the same time. I'm just going to live it day by day as we have been doing, innit? So
this is the reality. This is the reality of the situation.
If he takes the sporting directions and stuff, Man United can't get worse than what they are anyways.
Do you know what I mean? The Glazers out. I mean, ultimately, it doesn't really matter, does it? As long as you get them out, that's the key thing.
That's the main thing. The main thing for me, Nobby, as a rival, is that I just know the level of improvement under Jimmy Boy is not going to be the level of improvement you would have seen with the Qataris.
But then again,
not in immediate term.
Technically, yes and no, because you look more into it. Most Man United fans wanted Qatar because you think they're going to do what Abu Dhabi done for Man City, right? You think that's what's going to happen. So that's just stereotyping the situation. They wanted, Man United fans like myself wanted them because we wanted Glazers out straight away, and we wanted infrastructure built straight away and funds there ready to go and do whatever, right? But there's no actual history of Qatar's owning a club, knowing how to run the club, knowing how to each get to successful. When I talk about successful, of course you mean competing at the top and being a top and also going to win Champions Leagues, right? There's no evidence based off that. But at the same time with Ratcliffe, he hasn't got no evidence. And the evidence we do have is that in the time he has been at Nice, in his 3 seasons, he hasn't done so well. He's changed. Now, people say, look what he's done at Nice, but they're not looking at the present, right? He brought in that Brazelworth, whatever his name is, Brailsworth, learned for the last 3 years about how to run a club. Now he's put correct people in charge at Nice. Now look at their squad right now and look where they are in the table. I think it speaks volumes for itself, right? So that's a learning curve that Todd Bowley never got. It's not like Sir Jim Ratcliffe doesn't have a successful franchise away from football anyways, right? So you can call it copium, but I'm hitting people with facts. They're going to keep saying Nice, look at Nice, look at Nice. But that's what do you mean? Look at them now.
Also, Nissan Man United anyway, so it's going to be totally different.
It's totally different skill, but you have to still learn about a football infrastructure, how it works, right? So he's put people in charge. It's changed. So, anyways, the whole point is that now the only positive thing I can think of is you got a feeder club now in France. That's got a top club in France. That's got a good youth intake that you can also send your youth over to, like Todd Bowley and Strasbourg, what they're trying to build there. So, anyways, man. Other than that, man, I've spoken enough about it. If you want to hear me and Ty more in depth, you can go check yesterday's video or even maybe yesterday's live. But we should be back tonight, me, Daps, and maybe another panel of some sort. And we're going to be discussing something along the lines of, well, we'll see. I don't want to give away too much. But here's a couple super chats. Mike Ramsey said, no, deluded Don Lavia can't play over Gallagher. Don't worry, this guy's got nothing else nice to say.
I know. I see
rubbish Arsenal dead Saturday. And big up Michael, man. Keen super chat. So big up yourself. We'll be back later on. And also make sure to subscribe to Nobbins in the description below as well. L Nobbins, if you want to type it yourself on YouTube. Make sure you head over to Lewis's channel. Go show him some love. And big up everyone that's here. And again, we'll be back posting daily content. And watch out for Greasy because he's just taken forever for his channel, man. So yeah, man. Big up.
Love.